Welcome to Courage Classroom. Today we are going to be learning how to clear the first savage boss of Pandaemonium, Erichthonios. There are a ton of complicated graphics and counterintuitive strategies going around, so it is my goal to introduce the simple strategies that helped my group find success in the fight. This video is an overview designed understanding that viewers have a variety of needs. As such, instead of belaboring every individual mechanic, I'll cover the minimum information necessary to clear each phase, and include a link to video breakdowns for the most complicated mechanics. Furthermore, as I will not be repeating mechanics that do not change, you can find this timeline of the fight on my Twitter, @CTarius. I've created these images and macros to help clear the fight. My recommendation is, if you're clearing with a static group, fill out the document and use the images to be familiar with the fight. If you're clearing with a pickup group in Party Finder, have the following macros. Use the clock when you see the cast bar for Aetherial Shackles. Use the blue crystal during Intemperance if the north box has a blue crystal on bottom. Use the down arrow during Intemperance if the north box has a red crystal and the boss's bottom hand is glowing. Use the up arrow if the north box has a red crystal and the boss's top hand is glowing. The same waymarks can be used in both cases. Without any further ado, let's get started. The raid kicks off with Heavy Hand, a physical tank buster. From there, Erichthonios will cast Aetherial Shackles. Shackles of Loneliness, a circular red debuff, will be placed on a random player, and Shackles of Companionship, a line purple debuff, will be placed on another. Players should move into their assigned positions. If a ranged player gets the purple line debuff, they go to waymark 3, and that person swaps to their place. If a melee player gets the red debuff, they'll go to waymark D, and that person will swap to their place. Otherwise, if a player does not need to move, they will stay at their assigned spot. A convenient mnemonic for Aetherial Shackles is red go ranged, purple by people. This means the red debuff goes to the outside of the boss, max melee distance away, while the purple debuff needs to be in the markers right beside other people under the boss. Before the Shackles mechanic resolves, the boss will use Warder's Wrath, the raid-wide of the encounter. Next, you'll need to resolve the Jailer's Flail mechanic. Erichthonios will grab 2 of his weapons and slam them on the ground in the order that he will use them. There are 3 possible weapons at his disposal. The sickle means that he will slice that side of the arena, leaving only the opposite flank of the boss safe. The spiked ball, or flail, means he will spin it in melee range, leaving the outside of the boss safe. The hollow ring, or chakram, means he will spin it outside of his hitbox, leaving melee range safe. Note the order in which the weapons hit the floor, then resolve the mechanic by going from the first safe spot to the second. The next mechanic is Pitiless Flail. This is a tank swap mechanic that substantially knocks back the target, then resolves with a follow-up mechanic. If it was Pitiless Flail of Grace, whoever has the highest enmity after the cast bar resolves will be targeted with True Holy. This deals damage that can be split among everyone hit. If it was Pitiless Flail of Purgation, whoever has the highest enmity after the cast bar resolves will be targeted with True Flare. This deals damage to everyone based on their proximity to the target hit by the attack. In both cases, the party will stack in the boss's hitbox, and the tank will either join the party for True Holy, or be opposite of the party at max melee range for True Flare. If the tank used an invulnerability for the mechanic, they can remain opposite of the party for both, trivializing the mechanic. The next mechanic to learn is Intemperance. The arena is divided into a 3x3 grid. The outer squares will have 3 elemental crystals, a red crystal, a blue crystal, and a purple crystal. When each crystal explodes, they will deal elemental damage. If there's a target in their box, they hit only the target. If there's no target in the box, it hits the entire raid group. The red crystal will hit the target in its box with fire and apply the hot spell debuff. The blue crystal will hit the target in its box with ice and apply the cold spell debuff. The purple crystal will hit the target in its box with Disastrous Spell, killing the target with 10 million unaspected damage. The hot spell debuff affects the fire damage that you take, and the cold spell debuff affects the cold damage that you take. As such, you resolve the mechanic by alternating the elements you needed to soak your assigned box. This mechanic is simple for most of the raid members. If your top and bottom crystal are the same color, grab the opposite color for the second crystal. Fire is always in the north box, and ice is always in the south box. If your top and bottom crystal are different, go to the middle of the arena when the second crystals explode. This ensures that you keep the appropriate debuff. The only difference is how the main tank and the ranged flex handle the mechanic. If you're assigned to either of those, don't fear. Please watch my Intemperance video for an incredibly simple explanation of how to handle your role easily and successfully. The next new mechanic is called Shining Cells, a higher damage raid-wide that changes the floor of the arena. The boss makes immediate use of this by teleporting to the middle of the arena, facing north, and using Aetherflail. Aetherflail is simply a combination of two mechanics: Jailer's Flail, which you've already learned, and Aether Chain. Aether Chain surrounds the boss with glowing elemental orbs. The color of the orbs signal the color on the floor that is going to explode. To resolve Aetherflail, figure out Jailer's Flail first. Find the safe spot for the first weapon. Find the safe color in that safe spot. Find the safe spot for the second weapon. Find the safe color in that safe spot. Often you can find one section of the floor that's safe from all of the mechanics. However, there are times when that is not the case. The next new mechanic is Shackles of Time. Whoever gets the Shackles of Time debuff needs to stand on a red section of the floor when it resolves. Everyone else needs to stand on a white section of the floor. Resolve any simultaneous mechanics while ensuring that you are on the correct color when the debuff expires. To end this phase, the boss uses Slam Shut, which is simply another high damage raid-wide that changes the floor of the arena. While the mechanic might not be new, the next mechanic is Fourfold Shackles. It's a repeat of Aetherial Shackles with a twist. Every party member gets either Shackles of Loneliness, the red circular debuff, or Shackles of Companionship, the purple linear debuff. Resolve this mechanic by having everyone spread to their assigned positions before the debuffs appear. Once they appear, remember your mnemonic. Red, go ranged, purple, by people. If you need to swap from melee to ranged, or vice versa, leave your waymark and find an empty waymark at your new location. Stay at this location until you've been hit by the damage for 4 different chains. Guess what? That is the final new mechanic of the first fight. If you understand each of these mechanics individually, then you just have to be able to combine them in all of the fun and exciting ways that the fight will throw at you. If this video was helpful, please know that I appreciate every like and subscription that I get. Come check out one of my streams and say hi. You can ask questions there or in the comments below. Thanks for watching.